Here it is. Okay. Well, we had announced that we were back in regular session at 9:59. It's now 10:02. All of the same parties that were here previously appear to be here. And I don't know if y'all have questions that you want to ask. Did y'all have questions of them that you wanted to ask? Okay. My understanding is that someone, and we're not gonna do this in the form of a motion, but someone is going to make a motion that we honor we honor the original agreement of $600,000 as our portion of the renovations on the building. We're actually preparing a contract that we will send to you here shortly, in the next few hours, that will take out the language regarding the lease. That will not be in there. There just won't be any mention of the lease or us occupying those 5,600 square feet. And that, am I missing anything?
The length, the term, how long will it be the health department? Is there gonna be a period of time period?
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna ask Pat, if there needed to be language in there. Since technically that the entity, the Brown County Health Department, is gonna be occupying a building owned by the city of Brownwood, does there need to be something in there about a term
Yeah, I think it'd be a good idea.
for the health department, since it is a separate entity?
It can be revisited, revisit at that term, revisit the whole.
Okay. And so, is there any, before we make a motion and vote, or y'all have questions, comments,
I would just like to
clarify?
clarify, yeah, so there was never a written agreement for 600,000?
Yeah.
So just to clarify, that's what our estimated cost came in at 1.2 million for the renovation of that structure, so that's why we were looking at 600 per entity.
Right.
So I know for the city of Brownwood, we are committing to pay the difference in our city reserves. So that's where the city is coming up with their additional costs, now that we actually have construction costs, and not just a estimate. So I would certainly ask y'all to consider that. The bid is expiring at the end of the month. And so if we don't get the full 50% from the county for that bid, I do not know what the city council will do. They approved the bid contingent upon the county paying 50%.
Yeah, it was originally estimated at 1.2, and it came back at 1.65 or something like that?
The original bid was 2.1, that was the low bid. There was one, I think it was
2.4.
there was another one that was even higher. And then we worked that down through some cost saving measures and changing some design elements and those kinds of things.
So you've worked it down to, is that right, 1.65? That's about, I think.
Correct. Roughly without documents in front of me.
Yeah, I don't have actually mine.
And I can pull those if you want me to.
Yeah, and we have, and I know you've got a copy of it,
It's 1.671 and 25, so 1,671,125.
Is that the bid or the
And then that is the cost adjustments that includes the decreased cost, so we could do it locally or in-house to provide those cost savings.
835,000.
Yes.
yes.
The city was actually, last week, said they actually do some of those things they could do themselves on top of that.
No, that's including it.
That's what that
That they're doing that in-house is what reduced it from 2 to 1 down to the 1. 6, 7,
Wow.
right? Is that right?
Yes, including,
And or cutting, just cutting it to the bone.
yes, just basically cutting.
Say again?
We cut the bid to the bone, basically. I mean, it's just necessities in there that, I mean, we don't even have some of the necessities in there, basically. We just have to do that to do
Lisa's not gonna get granite cameras.
it.
No, but
It's now, it's, we've gone from granite to Formica.
I'm talking about the granite floors, marble columns are not in there.
No, they are not. It's the basic VCT tile like you would see it grocery stores or Walmart level. That's that. And then you're right, the Formica, or laminate countertops, those type of things. And even kind of moving things around where we're getting the most effective place to put a restroom for us to do our testing in that's not totally at the back of the building and we can control so that we have appropriate, safe, adequate testing. So there's just some essentials that we have that they were able to work with us and make recommendations that made it more affordable than the 1.2.
The construction timeline is 290 days, which I think we all have been through construction projects and know that's probably not going to be 290 days.
No, I sound.
It will be more than that, so that does also give some opportunities for, paying for the extra costs through budgeting in the
Different
next
budget
fiscal year, something like that. And, just to remind you, it is a contract with the city that the county would be reimbursing. So if we need to look at that timeline of reimbursement, I think we would certainly be open to that as well.
All right, do you, anybody have any other questions? Part of, and everything that you just mentioned, I think we talked about, we're, as you've seen, and I know you've got a copy of it, when we came down to really kind of earmarking the remainder of our ARPA funds, we earmarked 600 out of that and then spent the rest. And so that's, we would be in a situation of coming up with a difference out of some other, other account other than ARPA. I think that's where we're at.
I understand, and we did the same as the city. We had already actually entered contracts for multiple other projects. So we had already committed funds, and so the city was in the same position.
Situation.
So we determined that we weren't going to get a better option or a cheaper option. And so we are, at this point, planning on pulling the additional funds from the city reserves.
Good. Does anybody have any questions? You?
No one spokesperson, so I'm being.
No. And then I changed that and I said, you can, what do you want to ask? I can tell you. Okay. All right. Does somebody want to make a motion that we that we draft the contract in such a way to follow whatever you're going to say, and then we will present it to the city. I guess we'll talk about it Thursday morning, right?
Correct, we do have it on the council agenda on Thursday.
Somebody want to make a motion? Well, you just kind of tell me what it wants to be and we'll word it in such a right way.
Well, now, they were just talking, I want to talk to you, so you're gonna talk about it, so they're still asking for the full 50%, not just the 600, so that's all happened this year, so I don't know what. you're thinking.
The contract is set up that y'all reimburse us as we incur the expenses, so we'll y'all be working with our contractor to go beyond this fiscal year, so the next fiscal year before all your money would be due, so. This is-
Yeah, because 300 days from now is our next fiscal year. I think. February through September.
So if y'all could do that, we really would appreciate it. We think this is a critical building for the provision of services here in the county and the city. So really, if y'all could find it somehow, we really would appreciate it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion, if anybody wants to make it.
Or what are we talking about? Redlining the contract that the city has provided us and taking or adding a term where the health department doesn't pay rent for some period, X amount of whatever.
Well, I don't think there'd be a rent payment at all. I mean, it is.
Well,
It's an occupancy.
Yeah.
And we're gonna, the current,
Yes, to answer your
it's-
question.
it's not drafting a new one, it's redlining what Pat's already sent over. And it'll be taking out the lease provisions for
Well,
us and then the renovation.
some point, leadership in the city will change, leadership in the county will change, but the health department as an entity will still be there. And if a new leadership decides, well, that health department's not paying any rent on this city-owned building, that's the term I'm talking about,
Well, and I.
for the health department.
We'll make sure it's written such a way that can't happen.
Well,
I mean, we've had this before, I mean, like I said, I understand the differences, y'all aren't owning the building, so we believe it's the same spirit of basically, y'all pay 50% of the cost to build and cost to maintain. And in my opinion, that's gonna be the way it'll be, we should set it up that way forever. I mean, it is a Brown County, Brownwood Health Department, it's not the city of Brownwood Health Department, it is a countywide entity. And so, you know, if we want to do a 20-year term, I mean, you could do that. I didn't set up a term because the reality is, I view this as a permanent arrangement. So it's an equitable arrangement, it's 50-50, we're not asking for more or less. We're still in the building, we just ask that y'all pay 50% of the renovations for a joint facility. And that's how I set it up. And it's not really, the only reason we talk about the other space is that from day one, we never had any use for that extra space. And so that's why, you know, in the agreement itself, it literally just said, if anybody wants it, you can lease it. And, you know, that's, at the time, we didn't know if anybody really wanted it or not when we set this deal up.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I just wanted somehow into that contract that the Brownwood and Brown County Health Department doesn't wind up paying rent on a building that's owned by the city.
No, that's not what we're saying about that.
Because the county's not gonna have any ownership of that building.
That's why we basically set it up as without a term. I mean, that's the all. I mean, it's really, you understand the spirit of the way it's drafted. It's really drafted to where y'all are owning it. We're giving a permanent usage of the building. You know, if the building burns down or something like that, we obviously will have to figure out another place to go. But at this point in time, it's a big building. It actually, because of that space, it has space to grow if we ever had to grow. We think this will be, how long's their building been used for? Over 40 years. So none of us will probably be around
Well,
when
that's
this building,
good.
when this building.
Well, I
is-
hope not.
So Commissioner Worley, are you basically asking that we just articulate that no lease shall be paid by Brown County or the city of Brownwood during as long as it is located in this building? Just
Yeah, as
something
long
like
as the
that.
health department's in that building, they pay no rent.
Yeah, that's.
I think that would be easier than putting a term of 20 years. 'Cause
Yes, yes.
honestly, 20 years is gonna come pretty quick, and I'd rather
You're right.
not put
You're right.
a number of a term on it.
You're right.
That would be fine.
I'll be over providing money.
All right, somebody make a motion.
Well, we're making a motion for how much now? We're talking 600, now they're asking for the half, so.
It's whatever you make it, whoever makes the motion. Looks like Mr. Worley's just about to say something.
Yeah. I'm just wondering about still if we need to put the time limit on, into the motion or just.
No, I think that we're gonna draft it in such a way that it's, as long as that's used as the health department, that it's used by the health department.
Well, I would move that, we agree to the $835,562.50 to be paid, incrementally as needed for draw on the contract, for the contract.
Well, that's for the two lawyers. They'll work on that language. I mean, we've earmarked 600.
Yes,
So 600 between now and the end of September is not a problem.
right.
Obviously, our final payment will, anything beyond 600 will
Two hundred
become.
and thirty-five.
Be $235,000.
Now, guys, you know as well as I do how construction contracts work. It ain't gonna be $235,000. It's gonna be more, which is okay. But it just needs to be written that anything beyond 600 will be paid after October the 1st. Basically, isn't that right?
That's fine.
This is a design bill. We've never done this before, but it's, instead of going out for just a low bid, this is design bill. And so it's really, I don't think we're gonna have a lot of change orders. I mean, that would be my take on it. Basically, we had this contractor and their design people have worked with us extensively to get this thing. I mean, it's been amazing how much they've worked with us.
So it will have if theoretically, without change orders, we're guaranteed that it won't be more than the 167.
And of
Right.
course, yes, correct. And of course, the way we redrafted it is if one comes up, it's a 3% change, which is not much, we'll have y'all approve it. But if y'all would approve half, with remaining, payments to be done in the next fiscal year, that would be work with you all, the rest of the details all worked out.
All right, so it's been moved that we enter into a contract that approves the payment of the current half amount, which is $835, I think. $835,000.
$560.
$562. With the understanding, and we'll include that in there, that anything beyond 600 would need to be paid after the 1st of October.
Correct.
And then we will take out any language regarding a lease of the unoccupied 5,600 square foot side.
Right.
Did you want to make a second that?
I'll second that.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Not any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There is none. Okay, then it passes. All right, so we will get y'all the contract 30 minutes by the end of the day.
Yeah, I'll have to look at
Certainly by Thursday morning.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
thank
y'all.
Thank you very much.
Payment of bills.
One that I had all over in. So Jesse, we're making our payments now monthly instead of one annual payment on the Caterpillar stuff. That's the City National Bank is.
We're doing the monthly bill this week because the 26th is due out in the month to do that.
You know, last time we did it at the end of the year, all at one whack
No,
or something, or there's a file where it hit me hard last year at the end of the year.
you have one that pays yearly,
Okay.
the other one pays monthly.
All right.
Make a motion to approve the bills as presented by all.
Let's see if it's been moved and seconded to approve the bills as prepared by the auditor. Any discussion? favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There is none.
One question, on that one we just asked about, who signs that contract?
I do.
You sign it?
Thank you.
Did Pat already go by?
Well, he rode with me, so I guess he's walking.
There you go.
We're waiting.
What, you're lost in thought, what do you think?
I'll think about it rather than saying it first. Any other further discussion? Anybody have any announcements tonight? All right, then we will adjourn at 10:23.